Over 40 years selling hats at some of the largest hat shops in the world, it's my life's mission to pass all of my knowledge on to you guys. Welcome to Hats and Guitars. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. This is Kevin from KTG Hats, Hats and Guitars. We're here for many, many years so far. I can't even count how many years. I'd have to go back to the YouTube. It's, I don't know, 12 years, probably more, 13 I guess. But we're here giving you hat advice. I'm the fellow who's worked at a very large New York hat shop for 30 years, and before that another shop that sold Western hats for 9 years. So I was in the industry for a long time. I basically got out of the retail shops, and now I'm working with my own company now, KTG Hats, which is the guys who make this hat here. So I have a lot of customers who design their own hats, call me up, email me, we discuss it, they send me a little PayPal payment, and then a couple of months later they have a beautiful fur felt creation in their hands. We do 3-inch brims, 2.5-inch brims, 2 1/4-inch brims. We do 2 1/8, 2-inch brims. We do 1.5-inch brims, bound edge, raw edge, welted edges, thin ribbons, wide ribbons, super wide ribbons, open crowns. We do pork pies, homburgs, derbies. We have our own special designs that we've come up with. The Western Derby called Derby X, which is a Homburg brim with a derby crown, like a round Homburg. Or a traditional Homburg. And we have all the KTG styles that are starting to catch on. So this is the time of year when people sort of call me up because you order them during the summer for the fall. You know, they'll be ready in a couple of months so that you could get them for September when season rolls around. So I have one here that I'm going to steam up today. This just came right out of the box. I have not done a single thing to it. He sends me a note, and basically people send me stuff to steam up. This is Peter's hat. Just trying to straighten out the brim to its standard snap brim, and that's all he said. So there's some kind of wave in the brim that he doesn't like. All right. This is pretty typical stuff. It looks like he's just kind of been pulling on it. It's a little bit aggressive or something. Either that or, it's possible there's something going on with the fit. It's too tight or too large or something. Because if you look at the lines of the brim, okay, it follows the same line as when I pull it. Watch. You see? This is how it came in, but I can recognize the side of the brim looks like, watch. It's just a continuation of what I'm doing, right? Okay, so that's a symptom that his hat is pulling like this when he wears it. So it's possible that he said he was between sizes. He tightened up. Maybe he tightened it up too much and he's, pulling it down a little or something like that. But it could be a million different things. It could be just like a repetitive action that he does or something. But there's like a little wave in the brim. It shouldn't be any big deal. We make sure that the hat is stiff enough. If it's not stiff enough, we re-stiffen it, let that dry, okay? Before we stiffen it, we make sure we clean it, we get all the dust and little pieces of lint off. You don't want a dirty hat with pieces of lint on it and then spray on top of that, because then you're sealing all of that dirt, lint, and fuzz underneath a clear coat, so it's there kind of like forever. It's almost like preserving the dirt. So obviously what you want to do is tape it down with some packing tape or brush, steam it, let it dry, okay? Then when everything is all nice and clean, there's no more dust on it, what I can do is I could give it a coat of spray. I don't need a lot of spray, probably very little to none. Basically, you see how the hat reacts. If there's enough stiffener in it, the stiffener that's in there already will reconstitute just from the steam. The steam alone will make the hat get stiff again. But if it needs a little help, you add a little bit, because that also helps your work come out sharper and go easier when the hat is not soft. If you've got a little bit of hardness over here where you're doing detail work and stuff, that's good. You know, you might not want the entire crown to be hard though. Just the areas where you're making sharp lines, some details like over here if you're doing a teardrop or something, you know, on the edges, stuff like that. The brim, you know, just to get a little bit more control out of the brim. There's a lot of curling here, so we're going to flatten that out. Going to bring the band down. It's risen a little bit. And there's something going on here. There's kind of like a, you see that? It should be like almost a right angle there, but it's like stretching to a little. So that's the reason why the brim's all out of whack. It has to have a good break there, okay? But all around the hat has that good break right against the brim there, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna steam and we're gonna push up from the bottom. Push up so that everything's higher and that there's a better curve, a better flange. But one thing at a time. First thing, let's dust it off, get all the fuzz, so that we could maybe do a little spray. We're gonna open the crown so it's totally round, and that way all the walls on the sides will get rid of all these little lumps and wrinkles. It'll just be round like it was new. You know, we use this form, and then once we got a nice round bubble, then we just go and we reshape it again, okay? So I'm not too worried because these, you know, these hats are easy to steam. They're not like problematic hats or thin or anything. They should be fine. But you know, it's like a little bit rough job tightening it up, adjusting it. But if it fits in well, I'm not going to mess with that. Leave that as is. But we'll just fix the brim. This little line here doesn't look right. I think that's that stretch I showed you before. Remember that thing? Yeah, you see that? That doesn't belong. It should be like that. And what that looks like on the other side is, you see? Shadow. It's not a curve, it's like a bend. So that little lip there is kind of like, almost like he tightened it up a little too much and then the hat stretched to meet the right shape. Not a disastrous thing, it's just slightly out of shape, no big deal. Let's do it one step at a time, okay? Get this thing out of here, we don't need it there. I'm not stretching now, just putting it on there. Bring you in a little closer here. I'm going very easy. You don't want to mess with the finish of the hat. Also, I don't want to just brush the hat where I'm just pushing the dust all around. This is just better, quicker, more thorough. I like to get, you know, every single speck of dust and lint that I see. I like to get it all. I have that kind of, I don't know what the personality is, the type of guy who, you know, like when I'm sweeping the floor, I have to get, you know, every single little fiber or piece of dust that I see. And in a way, that weird sort of mental abnormality, my weird quirk, allows me to do really good work on hats because I'm very thorough. I'm almost like too thorough. I sit there and I look for every single speck. And then once every single speck of lint and dust and foreign matter is gone, then I feel I can brush it. I'm going to brush the hat counterclockwise with a horsehair brim brush or boar's hair, it doesn't matter. Any kind of brim brush. If you don't have a brim brush, Anything that's similar is fine. Clothing brush, a suede brush, a plastic brush is fine. If you have a bristly plastic, it doesn't matter as long as it's a brush and it's clean. And you just use it for this, you know. You don't want to use your shoe shining brush, you know. Okay. So yeah, like I said, if you have to go through 10 different pieces of tape, just do it, you know. Get the job done right. Be gentle, almost like you're just patting the dust and you're trying to touch the hat itself as little as possible. So you're going very, very lightly, but you're trying to cover a lot of ground. You want to get everything. And you want to get everything a few times, you know. So when the hat is clean, it's really, really clean. Okay. It's not a fun part of the job, but it is necessary. Okay. So we got it, you know, very dust free now. The idea is to make the felt look as much as you can like when the hat was brand new. Okay, let's look at the wind cords. Sometimes they get bunched up. Let's bring it down with our fingernail. Bringing it down. Everything is riding up because of that slope that I showed you. So the band itself is riding up that hill when it should just be like a right angle, kind of like an L, from here to there. It's like a, so what happens is the band rides up that hill. Kind of like, so we want to fix that break. And once we fix it, the band can go lower into that slot where it belongs. Let's heat up the steamer. Remember to take breaks. Don't let your hat get overheated. Bring it out. So what you want to do is you want to steam an area, take it away, let it cool, okay? You're steaming little sections at a time. Like if you're doing the top of the crown, you want to do the front of the top of the crown first, you know, like the pinches. So you want to do there first, you know, maybe here first, let it cool, and then do the other pinch, let it cool. Then you want to do the back, let it cool. So you want to take it in and out of the heat, and don't let your hat just stay hot, hot, hot. Otherwise, you'll get no definition and nothing will stay. It will just open up. The steam bouncing off the last section you did will just open up everything. All right, first thing I want to do is just open this crown. I like to do the crown before the brim. If I do it the other way, if I do the brim first, then when I'm working on the crown, the steam bounces off the brim and knocks that out. And then I have to do the brim last anyway. So just do the brim last. Always do the brim last. All right. So let's steam up the walls first, the sides of the crown. The rest of the crown will like wrinkly and round, even anymore. So we want to get the side walls even, and we want to get the roof also very even too. We can do both, but unless they're softened up with steam enough, you're not going to get your results. Sides. Rounding everything out. Okay. Pulling it. So this is nice and round. And again, to the other side, to the back. Probably need more steam for that, yeah. So I'm pulling the back so that this is nice and firm against the brass. Okay, rounding it out here. And we're going to make this a little hotter. Now, he did tell me just to fix the brim, to get the waves out of the brim, but we're gonna clean it, and we're gonna, you know, just make everything look nice and new also for him. But at the same time, if he did have a particular crown shape that he liked, I don't want to take it upon myself to just give him my crown shape unless I ask. Say like, yo, do you want me to give you a new crown shape? You know, if he says that, okay, you know, good. Otherwise, I'm gonna use his crown shape. Because people can get mad, you know. Oh man, it took me like 6 months to get that crown like that, man. Oh, you changed it? So, I'm not going to go ahead and just reshape the crown, but I'm going to get all the wrinkles out of it. I'm going to clean it, and then we're going to just snap it back to the shape that he had. And if there are any major problems with it or something, you know, I could make little, clean it up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So give him the same shape, but just clean it up. I generally try to ask for instructions so that I follow their instructions. As far as shaping the hat, it can be rough for you to just take it upon yourself. Generally, you have to ask people with Western hats if you want it cleaned, because a lot of guys with Westerns don't want it cleaned. They'll say, "Oh man, are you kidding? You cleaned it? Oh man." Other people, you know, most people are happy that you cleaned it, but some people not, you know. So you have to be kind of a little specific with instructions. You could always just stop and text the guy and say, "Look, do you want your crown shape, or do you want me to just, you know, give you a cool vintage shape, you know, teardrop?" A lot of times they'll be like, "Yo, I just trust you, Kevin," you know, and I'll just, you know, I won't give him a center crease if he was a teardrop. I won't change stuff like that. Okay, so now we're getting it pretty round. Okay, we're not really getting results as far as smoothness on the sides. It is possible I'm going to have to stiffen a little before I round it out. It's also possible I just didn't make it hot enough. So we're going to give it another shot. Okay. So I'm going to pull in. Yeah, I get more leverage that way as well. Okay, good. All right, that actually worked well in front and back. Sides are definitely still lumpy. Let's take the hat out of the heat for a bit, cool it off. Take a little water as I cool the hat off, cool myself off. Okay. We'll let the hat cool off for a little bit. Let's see what we can do on the sides now. I'm going to use another technique. I'm going to steam it up and press it against the side of the table. Okay, good, working good. Just need more of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stiffen the brim and the crown, both, but very little, very subtly. That doesn't need much, but it needs a little. It's gotten soft in the sense that you could tell he's been wearing this thing, you know. It hasn't been sitting in his closet. He's definitely been wearing it. Normal sort of wear and tear. And it's coming right back into shape, but I know I'll get slightly sharper results with a little stiffener. Let's see how the brim responds now. Just to do a test, you know? Look for a dry spot on the table. It's working pretty well. Working good. So yeah, as far as the wave in the brim that he was complaining about, that is definitely the symptom of something going on with either the hat was slightly tight and he was kind of pulling it down, you know, to fit, or it's just the way like he wears it and grabs it or something like that. I have a feeling it's a tight front to back thing. It's what it looks like. The way it was dipping on the sides, I sort of recognize that. He might just be a long oval. That's probably what it is. He's more long oval than the hat is. And that forced the hat to just go a little, get a little dip on the sides. Okay, but the dip's already gone on both sides. So I'm not worried about that. I do think the brim is going to be very easy to fix. It's going right back into shape. But to be honest, I'd like to see a little bit less wrinkly stuff happening in the crown itself. The brim seems real fine and real easy to do. Just like, just as is, there was enough stiffener in there. So I'm just bending it at that point where it was stretched, pushing it, making more of a right angle. You could do it from the top too, just push down right next to the ribbon. The brim itself will pop up on the sides more too. Okay, cool. There you go. I try to move it to different areas of the table that are not wet from the steam. Every time I do that tabletop thing, it leaves a little like steamy ring on the table. This is good. I'm impressed with the quality. KTG, baby. Very thick, heavy felt. Here's his shape. Let's do something with the front here. Got my fingers spread inside the hat. See that? So that these areas are coming out fine. You don't want the pinches to go all the way down to the ribbon, otherwise you get little gaps behind the ribbon. So I open my fingers like that, my pinky and my index. So that comes from guitar playing. Fix that. Fix the pinch in the front so you get that nice sort of triangle thing going. That should go like this. You know, not down to the ribbon, but above it. See? So you should have some flat area here. Always there. You don't want that pinch to go way down to the ribbon. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I just made this area here and here with my fingers. When this dries, I'll get more definition after I give it one little coat of spray. And when I spray it, I'm going to cover this band. There's a 2-inch band here, I think. Yeah. This is the GALAXIE Premier model from KTG. This comes open crown, and he shaped it himself into that teardrop. So I'm gonna just, help it along. You could see it needs like a little bit of definition, but I'm gonna get rid of all the little anomalous stuff and just clean up his shape, the little bump there and stuff, and give him exactly what he needed, okay? Oh, look at that. So now you can see the band has to come down. Now we've got that good right angle on the band, on the brim. Things are starting to look correct. Get that back nice and flat. Flat like. Should be up a little bit. See the way it blends from nothing, very slowly. All this is about the same. Should be, kind of horizontal there. And then it should blend back into nothing again. Okay, this bump does not belong. You see it? Let's get rid of it. Using my finger inside, 2 fingers next to each other, and then I'm waving them back and forth, making sure that area is flat. I need to flatten it against the table now. Yeah, that was some kind of little bump or damage or something. Something happened there. It's kind of like in it. That's okay though. None of that stuff is permanent. I'd like to make this look a little more old-timey if I could for him, Let's dry off the table a little. Let's pinch that back. Pinch it in. A little bit more definition to the teardrop, that's all. Let's pinch this. Let's pinch this one side. Let it kind of all blend. Pinch a little bit, maybe. Just a bit. Just to look a little more old-timey. Okay, I hope you guys learned a little something. I'm going to spray this hat, and then I guess we'll come back, maybe show you a little bit more soon, okay? So, thanks for joining me. Anybody who is interested in ordering a KTG hat from me, they are made in Canada. The price of them are $290, $310 if you want to design your own colors, go custom. Shipping is totally free. I take care of your US shipping and your sales tax. It's only $290 or $310 even. Alrighty. It's not very hard to do. You just basically send me an email at my name, Kevin Todd Gerber @gmail.com, and discuss it with me. I will leave the link to KTG Hats website right in the comments if you guys want to browse it and stuff. You could always talk to me. Getting on board is not expensive. You could get on board for $145, a 50% deposit, and then a month later you pay the second half, and gazoo, you have a custom fur felt hat that will last you hopefully a lifetime. This hat definitely spruced up a lot in the last few minutes, but what I do is I work on it every day. I'll come back, I'll stiffen it, I'll work on it again tomorrow, I'll let it sit, I'll work on it the next day, and I'll do it for like a whole week. I'll just keep tweaking it, almost like an oil painting. I'll see a little bump here or something, and I'll get rid of that. And you find that that's the best way to do it, because you need these hats to cool. They just have to cool in between work. You can't just keep working and working with a hat with a hot hat. The idea is that you heat it, you shape it, and it cools into place. Hey, what's up everybody? Today I want to go over some good old steaming lessons, show you guys how to refurbish a hat that's just worn, used, typical sort of nonsense, how to get it back, and what I sort of go through on a typical hat steaming. Before we do so, let's go over my workbench here, my sort of essentials. Number one, some sort of a source of steam. This is a Jiffy steamer. Once a year or so I do a little promotion with them, and I give people 10% off Jiffy steamers. If you call them up and you ask, are you still doing 10% off promotions with Kevin from Hats and Guitars, maybe they'll give it to you, but I don't know. There really is no promotion right now, but you don't need a great steamer, although this helps. This is like what the industry guys just use these a lot and stuff. You can use a cheap steamer. People get away with all sorts of stuff that they buy on Amazon and stuff. As long as the steam is, hot and you can isolate it to, certain areas, you're good. Having some sort of kettle will probably work, although you have to keep your hat very, very far away from the heat source. So let's say your burner is over here, okay, and you've got your kettle on top of it. You want your kettle pointing over here, and then you put your hat over here, so it's very far away from the actual heat source. That's why I don't like using a stove, because you tend to get very close to the heat, and that dries out the leather, and just, I don't know. Be careful. Just keep it away from the heat, but the steam is good, Alrighty, so as far away from the actual burners if you're using a stove. Next thing you need, very important, is a brim brush, a hat brush. Any kind is good. They don't need to be curved like this. They could be straight. They're just the same. They're black or light like this, whether it's horsehair or boar's hair, it really doesn't matter. Those are good. You always want to brush counterclockwise on the top of the hat, okay? Next thing, stiffener, yeah, it's useful, but it's not mandatory. I also use hairspray sometimes. I use this stuff in here, but it doesn't matter. In general, I don't use this much anymore. I tend to use the Manhattan usually, but hairspray, if you're using it, it has to be extra hold. The extra hold kind. I've used Aquanet, Suave, and Rave. They're all the same. Manhattan, you have to call up Manhattan or email him and say, I'd like a can of all-purpose lacquer sizing. That's it. Or just a can of spray sizing. Sizing is stiffener, okay? Stuff is very, very nasty. You have to do it outside with a mask and the whole 9 yards. It drips on your fingers. You tend to get really messy. I don't love it, but it does work very well. I don't like working with it much though. It's just nasty stuff. The fumes are just so bad. I can't imagine really breathing this stuff in on a regular basis. It can't be good for you. So be careful with it. Next thing, okay, I have a desk hat stretcher here. This comes in very handy. Something like a hat block. If you have, like even a good open crown hat block with a stand underneath it, or a hat stretcher like this, a brass desk stretcher that doesn't work, that doesn't stretch, that's fine too. These are very good for getting, wrinkles out of crowns, for shaping teardrops and things like that. I use it for 1,000,001 things that are not stretching actually. What else? Packing tape. If you can get yourself a tape gun, it's good. I like using it. There are cheap tape guns out there too. You could buy it, the drugstore. You don't have to buy the industrial one, but yeah, you could get them on Amazon fairly cheap. And they're good to have around the house for like 1,000,001 things, for packing boxes, for like, getting pet hair off the couch and stuff like that. It's actually very useful, like when you're going out to dinner and you're wearing a blazer, you tap your lapels with that and you're all good to go. Okay, anything else here? Not really. The stitch remover, it's not that, that kind of stuff. Having a good scissor is good, I guess. I like to have some type of sandpaper. Using this stuff is really good. The 220 extra fine dust channeling sponges, sanding sponge, they're very good. They're soft. One side is rough, one side is not. I also use regular sanding paper. You can see it, it's in the back. I have 2 or 3 different types. What else do I have in here? There's like a waterproofing spray I have in there. I've got a hat jack. But yeah, just to give you guys a little, these are my tools. These are the things that I usually use. I have a few things behind me, like, things like padding. I have different types of, hat padding and pads. I have feathers, I have boxes of feathers, hat padding. That stuff is very useful too. So anyway, talk to you guys soon. Be well. What's up, Days? Peace. Shout out to John Hoffman, still rocking at 74. He's in a band with somebody who just ordered a KTG, Adam Hoffman, his son. Shout out.